Hey YouTube, this is Bakarangercrimson here with a new deck series. It's called FNM YouBrew, which is an obvious play off of homebrew decks. The idea is that I will create a deck shell, just a basic standard FNM deck that I think could be very interesting. But unlike other deck tech videos, this isn't a deck that I've tested or I've brought to FNMs to play. This is a deck that the Magic players of YouTube will design, will test, will tweak, will make perfect or abandon and go to a new deck. What I figured is, what better way to build a deck than to build it with the collective knowledge of all the Magic players on YouTube. So hopefully you'll join in and leave comments, make video responses, maybe even take the deck to an FNM, post the results, and through all the Magic players on YouTube we create a deck that's actually good or move on to the next deck. So let's get started. I call this deck shell Grim CounterBurn. It's a red-blue burn counter deck. So we start off with 4. I don't have 4 of all of these cards. I'm just going to show you the single cards and tell you the numbers that I suggest playing. We'll start off with 4 Grim Lavamancers. This is a new rare from M12, just in case you people don't know. It's a 1/1 for 1 red, with the ability pay 1 red and tap to exile 2 cards from your graveyard. Grim Lavamancer deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So, as you should see, as the game gets later and later, this guy turns your old counter spells, your old burn spells into more damage. So, this is the late game reach of the deck. This is what goes beyond just countering and burning things, and helps the deck win. So definitely a 4 of in this deck. Next we'll go to the other red spells. We'll start off with the obvious 4 lightning bolts. This deck will only be standard legal for till the next new set Innistrad comes out, but right now I think is the best time for this type of deck because of all the overlapping core sets and all of the burn that's in standard. So we definitely want 4 lightning bolts. We want 4 burst lightnings. This is another cheap burn spell that, if you didn't know, you could pay an extra 4 to make it 4 damage instead of 2 damage. That goes to a target creature or player. That just allows you to do more damage. And then, returning to standard, we have Incinerate, which is lightning bolt for 1 more that allows the creature not to be regenerated. So, these are all 4 of. So between these 12 spells, you have between, let's see, 12. We have 12 damage from from all the Incinerates, 12 damage from all the lightning bolts, and then varying between 8 and 16 damage from all the burst lightning. So as you can see, that's obviously enough to take out a player plus a little extra. So since this deck doesn't run, here's another burn spell. This one is called Comet Storm. It's X and 2 red with multi-kicker 1. So as you play this spell, you could pay 1 more you can multi-kick it for 1 once you cast the spell. What this spell is, it deals X damage to target creature or player, where X is how much mana you pay, and you could choose as many new targets as you want for each multi-kicker you play. So say you pay 4 and 2 reds, so 6 mana, you could deal 4 damage to target player. At 7 mana, you could deal 4 damage to a target player and one of their creatures, and so on and so on. So you can see this is a good late game spell that could do a lot of damage or even clear a board. Speaking of board clearing, since this deck doesn't play many creatures, you have to deal with the aggressive creatures. So here are the red sweepers. I suggest 2 Pyroclasms, since currently in standard there are a lot of aggressive, more than 2 toughness creatures, so 2 Pyroclasms deals 2 damage to each creature, and then 4 Slagstorms, which deals 3 damage to each creature or 3 damage to each player. I see this is obviously a versatile spell in the deck where it could sweep up a board of creatures or do an extra damage to the players. So, 4 of this. Next we go into the blue spells, which is the counter magic. So the idea of this deck is you don't really want to play anything during your turn, so you could either just counter what they're playing or use your burn spells to deal damage or remove some creatures. So obviously 4 mana leaks, and then there's 6 spots for between Stoic Rebuttal and Cancel. Stoic Rebuttal in this deck is pretty much just another cancel, so it allows you to have 6 copies of Cancel, so they can't get all surgical extraction away or all memoricided away. So there's another 6 counterspells split however you like between between Stoic Rebuttal and Cancel. I suggest 3 and 3. Alright, one problem I was thinking of this deck is that it doesn't have much card draw. So when you run out of cards, what are you going to do? So my solution is another new rare from M12, Jace's Archivist. It's a 2/2 for 1 in double blue that you pay 1 blue and tap. Each player discards his or her hand and then draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards that a player discarded. So this is a very good card because the ability that you could draw quite a large amount of cards depending on the matchup. If you're against another control deck, you can draw upwards of 4 to 6 cards by activating this ability, or even your hand's just filled with lands instead of counter spells and burn spells. You could just pitch them and then get some more. So I suggest just 2 of these guys, but this guy is kind of iffy in the deck. You might just want to replace him with instant speed draw, such as Jace's Ingenuity or Blue Sun Zenith. And then the last card, non-land card in the deck, is because the Jace's Archivists are in the decks, 1 copy of Swiftfoot Boots. 2 mana equipments, they pay 1 to give target creature haste and hexproof. So obviously this works well with your Jace's Archivists and your Grim Lavamancers, letting you activate them the turn they come out and protecting them from removal. The idea with Jace's Archivist and Grim Lavamancer, you just don't want to roll them out as soon as you draw them. The idea of this deck is you don't want to be tapped out during your opponent's turn, so if you're going to play Jace's Archivist or Grim Lavamancer or Swiftfoot Boots, you want to play them in the later turns when you could also leave mana up for counter spells and burn. Now we move to the lands. If you want the deck to work at optimal level, you want 4 Scalding Tarns. I know these are a little expensive, so if you don't have 4 of these, it's fine. You could run the deck without them, but it helps fix your mana, and it also puts a card in the graveyard for Grim Lavamancer, which moves on to the next 2 lands, Evolving Wilds and Terramorphic Expanse. See, like I said, that this is a good time in Standard for this deck because Terramorphic Expanse is in M11, but it's not in M12. And then there's the functional same card as a different name in Evolving Wilds. So by having both of these in Standard this time, you could fill up your graveyard easier for Grim Lavamancers to do extra damage. So you could run anywhere between 3 and 4 of each of these just to pitch to your Grim Lavamancer, but you have to do testing to see how the mana runs if you have too many come into play tapped lands. And then the rest of the deck is just a split between islands and mountains, just really depending on how you feel the deck is. So that's my idea for a blue-red counterburn deck. So there you go, YouTube. Grim counterburn deck tech. So please comment, rate, subscribe. Let's build this deck, YouTube. Thanks for watching. Bye.